your father? I do. Where, please? At his office. Where is that? 60th Street and Broadway. And was anybody else with you? I was in company with my mother. And your mother was with you when you went to your father's office? Yes, sir. Did you leave the office together, the three of you? Yes. How did you leave? By car. Whose car was it? My father's car. Was it this particular car that was involved in the accident? Yes, sir. Had you seen that car previous to the accident on that day? Yes, sir. When and where? I had seen it that morning when I opened the garage door for my father to let him get the car out. And did you notice the appearance of the car at that time with respect to the condition of the mud guards and the body? Yes. What was the condition? They were all right. Did you see it the evening after the accident? Yes, sir. I show you Defendant's Exhibit B and ask you if that is the condition of the car as you saw it on the evening immediately after the accident. Yes, that is the condition, the way I saw it. Now, you left your father's office about what time? About 6 o'clock. And who was in the car? My mother and father and myself. And where were you sitting? I was sitting in the rear of the car with my mother. On which side of the car were you sitting, the right or the left facing forward? On the right-hand side of the car facing forward. That means your mother was to the left? Yes, sir. Was anybody in the front seat besides your father? No, nobody. Where did you go? We went to a restaurant. Where is that restaurant? On Fordham Road, right next to the First National Bank. Had you been to that restaurant with your father and mother many times before? Yes, I had been. Were you going anywhere in particular that evening besides to the restaurant? We were going to dinner and to a show. Do you recall arriving at the point of the restaurant with the car? Yes, sir. Do you recall the car pulling up to the curb? Yes, sir. Who got out of the car first? My mother. And what did you do? I locked the doors of the car. My mother got out first to see if it was all right, if it was parked all right. Your mother got out first, as I understood you to say, and you later got out? Yes. What did you do? I stood by the curb waiting for my father. What, if anything, did you see your father do with respect to parking the car? I saw him bend down and lock the floor switch. And you heard him pull on the brake and you saw it? Yes, sir. What else? Before he got out of the car, I remarked to him it was quite close, the front wheel, and he said it was all right. You observed what? The back of the front wheel was headed to the curb, and I thought it was cut in too much. Never mind what you thought. You mean by that the front wheel was turned so that the rear of it was toward the curb stone more than the front of it was? Yes, sir. Was it very much turned in or just a little bit? It was turned in quite a bit. Did you see your father get out of the car then? I did. Then you met your father on the sidewalk with your mother, is that correct? Yes. Where were you standing when you got out of the car? I was standing up in the front. Did you go near the back at all? I locked the back then. I had to put my hand in the front door and put on the little lever. You pushed up the button or locked the rear door, is that it? Yes, sir. Did you look at the back of the car at all at that time? No, sir, I did not. Were there any cars in front of your father's car as you parked it? Yes, there were cars almost up to the corner. Were there any cars in back of your father's car as you pulled up there? No, sir. Now, when you and your mother met your father on the sidewalk, what did you do? Where did you go? We went into the restaurant. Now, do you recall what time that was? Yes, it was 7 o'clock. How do you fix the time? Because in this restaurant there was a clock, and I mentioned to my father we would have plenty of time. Never mind what you mentioned to your father. Just tell the jury how you fixed the time. I saw the clock in the restaurant said 7 o'clock. Now, did you dine in this restaurant? Yes, we did. Do you recall about what time you came out of that restaurant? I do, because I looked at the clock again, and it was 7:15. Where did you go when you came out of the restaurant?